Good morning. I'm Norma Cowie and welcome to my YouTube channel. Every Wednesday I put up a talk that I do on a topic or subject. This is a little different than what I have done. And it came about by this way. I was talking to my son, as I do every Sunday night. We have a telephone appointment time pretty well then. And I had mentioned that I was getting really good responses when I used tarot cards or talked about the tarot and things like that. So he said, well, Mom, we're coming up to December. Why don't you do a reading for December? And I went, yeah, sure, I could do that. So if you could see my table, I have what I call an inverted pyramid reading out. And I just want to suggest now, if you'd really like to have a copy for me to email you a copy of this actual reading, the cards, that is, to go to my website, www.normacowie.com, and ask for the inverted pyramid reading. And I'll send you a copy of it. So that would have, of course, after I'm finished all this. But I'll be quite happy to do that, because sometimes I can how I read very often is, where does my eye go? What's the feeling I get from the symbology? And so I have actually, first top line is 5 cards, then we've got 3, and then we've got 1. So we've got 9 cards, which is a completion. That's why I always look. 9 is a completion number. I also have standing by my big, larger crystal ball, which probably hasn't been used for a while, because I have a small one I take away when I'm traveling or anything. So this is a bigger one. So we'll see how we go on this. Talking about the month of December. It's all I asked was the conditions around the month of December. I didn't qualify for me or the US or Canada or the world. I just said, what are the conditions around December? So I'm going to pull the cards up again so you can see them as I go through them. And it begins with justice. Decisions not made. When I looked at this, I'm not going to hold it up. When I looked at that symbol in relation to what follows it, which is how I kind of read, is always linking them, is I looked at that and I thought, a lot of this first part of December, there's still undecided about things. There's a lot of indecision. And because of that indecision, the next symbol was really important, which is judgment, but to me, it has an acceptance element to it. This is about accepting things as they are, because at this point, we, the people, cannot change too much of what's going on. Although we teach and talk about how the consciousness of us has an effect. And there's something else I'll probably talk about next Wednesday, because I'm doing this Wednesday, is that there is an element here of having to accept things as they happen and occur. And I really feel that most of this first week that's how it's going to be. It's like, maybe we're in when I say a week, because I'm looking Wednesday to Wednesday basically, but Tuesday is when we moved. Yesterday was the first day of December. I've just got some little a little calendar down here for me to look at, because I like to feel time. And I actually think that by the end of this week, and so we're looking at maybe Friday or Saturday even, so that's not that long, a couple more days, what we get is the 8 of Pentacles, the worker, the movement. A lot more is being shown. We will know what we're dealing with, but it is not completed, because the workman is working on one, and so he's still working away here. So a lot of the information that we are wanting to have in this month of December is, even though it may clarify, it's still not finished. It's still not in any way sense of going, oh yeah, this is what's really going on. And it definitely shows how to bring things forward in the direction of where you want to go, to be able to see where you want to go and how you want to go and the direction you want to go and how that produces and how that comes to be in all sorts of ways. Now, so this has got forward movement. Now, up until now, there has very, very little forward movement. So as we move through the weekend into the beginning of next week, there is an awareness of movement and how that can be, how that can just happen to be in the sense of direction. And so consequently, the ability to have movement is really, really important. And especially as we look at the last symbol at the base of this, again, we go to, this is number 2, the High Priestess, but it correlates with the beginning card of the week, which was this one. And I'm going to block my face out here. Both, this is the beginning. This is number 2. This is number 11. This is the decisions being made. This is commitment to decisions. But in this case, because how it came out in the reading, the first one, justice, is about I can't see. There is nothing really to see here. And you could say, oh, justice is being prevailed, but it doesn't say that to me. It says, I can't see where we're going. And there's still, especially with that second symbol of, again, another number 2, 20. So number 2 as well is the acceptance of what is exposed or brought forward or shown. So here we are in this base saying, finally, there's movement. And I really get that probably during the weekend, Monday for sure. And then again, now decisions have to be made. We have to decide. It's still wobbly. It's like being on we don't see too much about seesaws anymore, but it's like my hands are going up and down because it's like a seesaw. Which way are we going to go? But when we look at the middle row here, we get this one, the 6 of Wands. To me, the key to that is victory is assured. But it's still, and it is moving, which I like to see. If we have movement, we've got advancing. It's advancing, it's moving forward. So we're advancing, and it looks like whatever victory means what? Knowing, because we have been in a state of not knowing. And I have really felt that out in the world, out in the consciousness. The collective consciousness is kind of like on hold, waiting to see. It's almost like which way the ball drops. And so this one says, now, as we're moving into that second week, we have movement, we have growth, we have progress. But, and there's a little but, an attitude card of the Queen of Swords. Doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of resistance. Okay, this is what's happening, but I'm not sure about this. So there is, now we're getting polarity because we're getting resistance. And I almost feel like I want to take a huge big breath because I feel like my breath is leaving me. So it's like, where is my breath? Where is my breath going? I do not know. So again, as we're moving into, you might say, towards 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe even in the 11th, is this kind of a on-holding pattern that's not going to last, thank goodness, because of this one. Ace of Pentacles. Here it comes. Now, the one thing with the aces is always new beginnings, but the pentacle means it's visible, material. It has a structure, it has a way, it has an ease with that. And so it's like, to me, it's like clouds clearing, being able to see. It's only the beginning, it's a new beginning. So I really think that by the 20th, there's going to be some clarity, there's going to be an awareness, there's going to be a sense of direction. And the last symbol, which goes from there for the end, towards the end of the month, is again a movement symbol, the death symbol, which means rebirth. They didn't know when they made these that the title really needs to be rebirth. I love the symbology in this symbol. That's like life's making us down to the rear bones, and we're re-emerging out of the war. But it does show movement forward. So in the second part of the you might say where we're heading in this inverted pyramid pattern, we have movement, all moving in the direction we want, not stationary. Excuse me, moving. I just have to have a sip of water here, just a sec. And the death symbol showing with the sun in the background. I still think there's going to be a lot of, and I did this when I answered some questions a while ago when someone asked me, and I did some readings on some questions. I still think a lot of this is going to go into January and even February. And I know at the time I said, and we were looking more at the virus at that point, And I said, oh, like by the end of March, even into April. But, and again, I get that there's going to be in January, and I am probably on the first Wednesday, I will take a look at January. But I'm heartened by what I see here. I'm heartened by the progress, not right at the moment, because it's still unknown. But there are people, there are things being worked at, there are things being established, it's moving. Yes, there's some decisions yet to be made, but once it begins, even though not everyone's going to like what's going on, which we know that's how it would be, the movement forward, it's there. And to me, that's music to my ears. My ears, my eyes. Music to my eyes. While you hear music, that's why. So I really am quite good. And I'm just going to run the names if some of you want to write these down. And as I said, you can always ask me to send you a copy of this because I took a snap of it. So Justice, Judgment, Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, the High Priestess, Six of Wands, Queen of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and the Death. And death means rebirth. So as we are leaving this December, we are coming into a new era, new way, new delight, new whatever. But as I put all these together and put them away for another time and another day, I'm going to pull my big, which you probably can't see. I'm going to pull it up. I've got a lovely big. I haven't looked in this particular crystal ball for a while, so I'm going to warm it up with my hands because I usually use my hands. And I'm just going to ask what is a sign in here. And what I see, which is kind of is like a castle which has got smoke coming out of it. It's like, oh, the light from above me is really pouring into this, but we'll ignore that. I feel, and it's what I call in the past, it's like a structure is being, it's like being burned, it's being breaking down. We'll call it breaking down. And it's not quite in the middle, so it's not totally present. But as I look into what I call a more future, it shows green fields with flowers in the background. It's like coming into green fields followed by a garden. So to me, that says old structures coming down, and again, not immediately, then we're moving into newness, which will flourish, which will really flourish. So we're going to put that out of the way there a little bit. That's all I'm going to see and look at. But I did think it might add a little bit, and it always, because tarot cards I know really well. These are my clairvoyant elements, which is not my strongest thing, but it does talk to me. It does show me things, and invariably it is correct. And so the past and the present didn't really come up in there, but more the future, which again talks exactly as the symbology did. We may not know what's going on right now, but by the end of the month, we certainly will. And it'll be newness. It'll be great. It'll be into a whole new different awareness. And so I just want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching the different talks that I do on different topics. I will be back on Sunday with my live stream on a Sunday Thought. But remember, you can always contact me through the website. I really thank you for the subscriptions. I thank you for the likes and especially the comments, because the comments really warm my heart. I want to thank you, and I'll see you again next week. You have a good one.